Great.
Welcome to Module 1, Lesson 3. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about exploring the stages, understanding and exploring the stages of relapse. Relapse is not often a sudden event, but actually a process that unfolds in stages. So understanding these stages is crucial for individuals in recovery and those supporting them. By recovering and recognizing the signs and progression of relapse, it becomes very possible to intervene early and implement effective relapse prevention strategies. So the stages of relapse are typically divided into three main phases. One, emotional relapse. The emotional relapse stage is the earliest phase. It is characterized by emotional and behavioral signs that precede any actual substance use or returning to the addictive behavior. During this phase, individuals may not consciously be thinking about using or engaging in the problem behavior, but their emotional states and behaviors are setting the stage for potential relapse. So the key characteristics of the emotional relapse stage include one, increased stress. So heightened stress levels and emotional discomfort, often resulting from external factors or unresolved issues. Anxiety and mood swings. Frequent mood swings, irritability, and anxiety can become more pronounced during this stage. Isolation. Remember, isolation has come up more than once now. So it's a tendency to withdraw from social support networks and isolate yourself from friends, from family, or recovery groups. Poor self-care. We're talking about self-care again. Remember, I said some things will keep reoccurring, and those things that keep reoccurring in the course of this course are things that you need to pay very close attention to. There is a reason why they're reoccurring. We could have decided to leave them out, but they are very important factors. When you begin to neglect self-care practices such as healthy eating, exercise, and adequate sleep, you know that this is a characteristic of an emotional relapse stage. Difficulty sleeping. Insomnia or disrupted sleep patterns may emerge as a result of emotional turmoil. Bottled up emotions. We always say a reluctance to express or discuss emotions can lead to a buildup of emotional tension. Your brain was not created to suppress for too long without expression. So it is important that you do not bottle up your emotions. The next stage is the mental relapse. Now, the mental relapse stage represents a progression from emotional to mental conflict. During this phase, individuals may find themselves engaged in an internal struggle between the desire to use or engage in the addictive behavior and the desire to maintain sobriety or abstinence. So key characteristics of the mental relapse stage include one, cravings and urges. Intense cravings and urges to use the substance or engage in that behavior may become more frequent and difficult to ignore. Glamorizing past use. One day we were having a meeting with, we're going to have a talk show, and myself and another person who had struggled with substance as well. We're talking about the things that we used to do when we're, using substance and all of those things. And the moderator of the meeting we're having looked at us and said, the way you are talking about this thing may make it appealing for some people to want to use. And that struck a chord with me immediately. So when you begin to glamorize past use, recollection of the perceived positive aspects of past use while confidently forgetting the negative consequence, it's a problem. So it is important that you don't glamorize your past use, because we conveniently forget the negative consequences. Don't forget that one of the characteristics of addiction is using despite the negative consequences. So when you now conveniently forget it and you are recollecting the perceived, in quotes, perceived positive aspects of that use, you are glamorizing past use. Another thing is planning and rationalizing. when you begin to develop plans or scenarios in which it becomes reasonable or justifiable to use. Like some people say, oh, when I'm going to party, I just want to just use a beat. Let me just boost my confidence and then allow myself let loose and have some fun. When you start to plan and rationalize, you know that you are in the mental relapse stage. Another thing is hanging out with peers from the past. Remember that people can be triggers. So when you reconnect to individuals who used to be part of this your addictive behavior, you are increasing your exposure to your activator on your relapse. Lying and deception. When you begin to lie, engage in deceptions to hide thoughts of relapse from loved ones or your support network, when you begin to lie even about where you've been or your whereabouts, you know that you are, on your way. You're in the mental relapse stage. The next one is the actual physical relapse. Physical relapse stage is the final stage, and it is marked by the actual return to the addictive behavior. So once an individual has reached this stage, relapse is no longer a potential risk. It has happened. It has occurred. So characteristics of the physical relapse stage include when you go back to your addictive behavior, the use resumes or the behavior resumes. The individual engages in the addictive behavior, often as a response to the overwhelming cravings and mental conflict experienced in the previous stages. Another characteristic is immediate guilt and regret. When you engage in the behavior, the person often experiences immediate feelings of guilt, regret, and disappointment in themselves. Another characteristic is progressive relapse. In some cases, one-time use can lead to a series of relapses or return to a chronic pattern of use or the addictive behavior. Remember when I told you about the boy that had used that time, and then all of a sudden, what did he do? He moved into the crack house. So, understanding the stages of relapse, it enables the individual in recovery, their support network, and the professional handling them to intervene effectively at the earliest sign of emotional and mental relapse. For me, I would say intervene in the emotional relapse stage, because by the time we get to the mental stage, in no time at all, if quick intervention is not done, you will go from 0 to 100 in seconds. So early intervention, coupled with appropriate relapse prevention strategies and support, can significantly reduce the risk of physical relapse and promote long-term recovery and well-being. So I want you to look at your life now. Have you relapsed before? Are you in the stage of the emotional relapse? What's going on with you? Are you being stressed out? Are you able to name your emotions? Are you in the mental state? Have you begun to plan, or have you actually physically relapsed? Look at it, write it critically, and then you'll begin to know what steps we need to take in the next lesson. So see you in the next lesson.